once the Holy Father announced that he was going to do that canonization Mass, we had to determine where would be the best place. The Pope's office reminded us that they were going to be looking for this huge gathering at the World Gathering of Families. So they wanted something that wouldn't have that ballpark flavor to it. So we said, we have the shrine, we have the Basilica of the National Shrine, and when you take the East Portico and you position an altar there, you have that whole campus of Catholic University as space for the congregation. But then when the Holy Father announced that he was going to do the canonization Mass, the shrine was the obvious place.
The National Shrine was established by the bishops back in the early 1900s after the Council of Baltimore placed our country under the care of Mary Immaculate. And with that, they decided it was important for us to have, shall we say, a national monument in honor of Our Lady, just like Washington has many monuments in honor of all of the founders of our country. This National Shrine has served as a center of Marian devotion for our country, as well as a center of worship for our country. And so by the Holy Father coming here, he's coming to America's preeminent Marian shrine. When St. John Paul II was here in 1979, he met in the upper church with religious of the United States. When Pope Benedict XVI was here in 2008, he met with the bishops of the United States and the Crypt Church. And now, for the first time in our history, we will have a papal Mass celebrated on the East Portico, and we will have the first canonization in the United States, America's 13th saint.
One very important element in all of this was the realization, not only can we do something utilizing the Basilica and the campus of Catholic University, but we do it every year. It's just a little bit different because the space on the portico is relatively limited, and all we need for the graduation is space for the chairs of the president, the chancellor, the speakers. But what was really a defining factor was the realization we have the entire campus. All of that wonderful university campus space, it's beautiful. And we have people there in great number for every graduation.
I became president in 2010, a couple of years after Pope Benedict was here in 2008, and I'd heard from people who worked here then and from Father O'Connell, my predecessor, what excitement there was about Benedict's visit, but it didn't prepare me for what we've experienced now. Maybe part of that's because it's just such a thrilling event and to be part of it. Part of it is, I think, that the response, the public response to Pope Francis is something we've just never seen before. The popes come to the Catholic University of America because this is the national university of the Catholic Church. It was founded in Washington because the bishops of the United States in the 19th century thought it was appropriate for us to be in the nation's capital because we were the national university of the church. There are other schools, other Catholic schools that are schools in the Catholic tradition or schools with a great Catholic heritage, but we are the Catholic University of America.
We want to contain the cost of this celebration so that the Holy Father will also be able to receive a substantial gift from the bishops of the United States to use for the poor. That was another reason for deciding to use what already exists, the Basilica and the campus. We don't have to rent any of that. It's already there. It already belongs to the church. We just have to prepare it and prepare it well.
One of the most interesting things about this particular visit of the Holy Father, different from 1979 in a little bit, but way different from 2008, is the amount of construction that's going into this project. If you look behind me, you'll see the fact that they're constructing this altar that will be raised up above the east portico of the Basilica. Now, in 1979, we did transform our gym into a majestic palace, if you will, for John Paul II. Francis obviously is a little different in that he doesn't want anything majestic and opulent. So this is going to be very simple, although it doesn't look so simple right now if you're looking at it. In 2008, everything was done inside our student center, the Prisbilla Center. So it was a little easier, and the work that was done didn't take nearly as long as this is going to take, which is going to take about 10 days. So it's a completely different feel from 1979 to 2008 and now to 2015. One of the interesting things about the preparations for this Mass is the fact that Catholic University is an open campus. There are no walls, there are no fences around the campus. But when you have someone like Pope Francis, who is so wildly popular and people want to see him, that we're going to be ending up building a whole security perimeter around the campus. While I hate to say that we're doing that, we have to do it for the protection of the Holy Father and all the people that are going to be here for his Mass. And there's going to be a stage for our choir to sing. There's going to be a place for our press that they can take advantage of the scene and to record it for history. So a lot of things have to happen between now and the 23rd of September. And it makes me feel good knowing that the planning that started so many months ago is now finally taking fruition.
As with any Mass in general, but especially with papal Masses in particular, there's an awful lot of work that goes into planning the Mass itself. And when it comes to the music, we need to make sure we plan music that's appropriate for the Mass. But also we will have individuals here for several hours beforehand, and so there's going to be a whole series of prelude music taking place. And in collaboration with the Archdiocese and the Catholic University, the Shrine, we all have different choirs performing that day. The intention was to have a great diversity of music which shows the diversity of the Church of Washington. And I think that the music that's been planned for the day will certainly highlight that.
I think it's particularly important that the faculty and staff and students attend the Mass here during Pope Francis's visit, because this is the reason we're coming together as a church.
What a beautiful statement that's going to be, to have the Pope standing there in Spanish, recognizing this saint who came from Spain, from Mallorca, all part of that Spanish dominion, and brought the faith and first proclaimed it in Spanish. And we have so many heirs to that.
I think it'll have a very important impact on American Catholics, and perhaps on Catholics who want to attend this university, which is the National University of the Church. It's a reminder, because the Pope will be saying the Mass in Spanish, it's a reminder of what is the native language of many of America's Catholics.
En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo.
Bendito el que viene en nombre del Señor.
It's also something that we've been preparing our students for. You know, the Mass will be in Spanish, and we'll have translations for those who don't speak Spanish, but we've also been preparing our students by having Masses in Spanish in the run-up to the Pope's visit. We have been translating our website into Spanish, and we'll be able to post these things for families to see in 2 languages on our website, and I hope it'll provide a more welcoming experience. We are, after all, not the National University of the Anglo-American Catholic Church, but of the entire American Catholic Church, and we want to make it more welcoming to all of America's Catholics.
Well, when you think of it, this is the first time that Pope Francis will come to the United States. He is a pope of this hemisphere, of the so-called New World. He's a pope of America. Pope John Paul II kept telling us, speak of America as one America.
The Holy Father has been briefed on everything regarding his trip to the United States. And I'm pretty confident that all of the details have been revealed to him from the beginning stages of planning to the very end. Will we have time to speak of specific items? I'm not quite sure. Because as is the case with any encounter with the Holy Father, things move very quickly. He directs the conversation, and you try to insert things as appropriate, and no one stops the Pope. Pope Francis' visit to Washington, to the United States, is one which is going to strengthen people's faith, encourage faith, support faith, and perhaps even give those who might not be practicing their faith the way they should the impetus to practice further. And with the forthcoming Year of Mercy, I'm hoping that many people will come to the National Shrine, because the Shrine is a place of pilgrimage. And one of the undertakings for the Year of Mercy is to make a pilgrimage. And so we hope that many will come to the shrine during that special Jubilee year. I hope that as the Holy Father leaves the National Shrine and this property, the Catholic University of America, he sees a vibrant church, a church alive, a church filled with the Spirit, a church willing to proclaim the Word of God. And as the theme of this visit is Love is our mission, to share God's love with all of those who we encounter.